Okay, in this video, we're going to go and get the Android operating system and we're going to install it into VirtualBox. Okay, so I've given you a link to where you can get the x86 version of Android. So you just go there and then you're going to get the most recent one. And you'll see that they're ISO copies. So that's what we're going to do is we're going to download an ISO and we're going to get the most recent one that's on here, which is Android version 4.3. Okay, so all you have to do is click on this, okay, and then click here, and it'll download for you. Okay, so we'll just wait for that to download. Now also keep in mind that since this is an ISO file, you could burn it to a USB stick or something. You could actually install it on an unused laptop or computer and run Android right on that system if you wanted to. But I suggest that you test it out in VirtualBox first to make sure that you like the way it works before you go making a commitment to overwriting something on another PC. Okay, so let's open up VirtualBox now. Now what we need to do is take that file and we're going to create a virtual system out of it. So open VirtualBox, come up here to where it says new and click that. Okay, in here, let's put Android, and it was 4.3. Okay, so that's just a description that'll show up in your list on the left here. Now, all we need to do is go to the type here and we're going to click Linux. Okay, and then in here, we're going to click Linux 2.6.3.x. Okay, and then 64-bit. Okay, click Next. Okay, now here's where you can assign resources from your computer to the VirtualBox. Now, any resources that you assign here takes away from your main system because it creates a separate machine. Okay, so be careful how much you use here. So I'm going to use 1 gigabyte, so 1024. Okay, so I suggest maybe a quarter of your machine. So I've only got 4 gigabytes in this machine, so I'm going to use 1 as my virtual machine memory. Okay, so next we're going to create a new virtual hard drive. Okay, so let's click Create. Okay, and VDI, Virtual Disk Image. Click Next. Okay, and then we're going to make it fixed. And we're going to make it 8 gigabytes. Okay, so that's where it defaulted anyway. Let's create. Okay, so it's going out and allocating our system resources. So what it's doing now is it's going to section off 8 gigabytes of your hard drive to use in this particular virtual box. Okay, so once that's done, you will see something like this in front of you now. So your virtual drive or your Android system will go in this virtual box or virtual drive. Okay, and then you can see on here the parameters of what you just set up. So we set up Android 4.3 and Linux 2.6, so that's 3 to 6, 64-bit. We allocated 1024 megabytes, and it does a lot of these different things by itself. You don't have to worry about these too much. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is go into settings. Okay, now you have general settings here, so there's nothing to do here. In advanced here, you can share your clipboard, drag and drop, and you can set these later. Remember runtime changes, show in full screen seamless. These are the defaults, so you don't really need to change any of this, and then this is just a description. So we don't need to worry about that, but let's go into system here. Now, you want to make sure, let's go into processor, that you enable PAE/NX if it's showing here. Certain machines, newer machines, will use PAE, so make sure that you've checked that. Over here you have acceleration. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is go down to storage. Well, actually, before we do that, let's go to network. Okay, and make sure this is set at NAT. So what that's going to do is it's going to, while it's in the virtual box, it's going to use your current network to attach. So even if you're using a wireless network, it's going to think that it's going through a cord. It doesn't really matter. Okay, click Advanced here, and then what you want to do is select here and make sure you got Intel Pro 1000 M3 desktop selected. Okay, now let's go back to storage and let's click here. Now over on this side, you'll see a little CD DVD drive and you'll see a little disk here. So click on this and then we're going to choose an ISO. So, okay, so we'll choose. Okay, and here's our file. So we click on that, open. Okay, and then there it is there. Okay, so let's click OK. And now we're ready to go. Okay, so what we need to do now is click Start. Okay, so the first time through, this is going to run the install for Android or whatever operating system you're putting in here. In our case, this is Android. So I'll just wait for this to start up. Okay, so it comes up like this. So we want to run x86 and install Android x86 to hard disk. Okay, so we'll tab to there, click. Okay, and away she runs here. Okay, so we want to create modify partition, so click. Okay, so once we get here, we want to tab over to new and click the enter key. And then we want to create primary. Okay, click enter again, and now bootable. Okay, and then we want to go over to right. Click enter. Okay, are you sure? So we click yes. Okay, so it's writing the partition table. Now remember, it is doing this inside VirtualBox. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to quit. Okay, and then here we're just going to pick the Linux here. So, okay, and then format, we're going to format an ext3. Okay, and then click yes. Okay, and that goes through the formatting partition here. Okay, next, do you want to install the bootloader? Yes. Okay, system directory is read and write, yes. Okay, so it's writing this out now. Okay, now we just run. Okay, so click OK. And our first time through, we'll start the setup. Okay, now the first time through, this may take several minutes, maybe even up to 15 or 20 minutes. So be patient and just wait for it to come up with the next screen.